Hello and welcome to Freedom Flow. My name is Lloyd Crossfield.
And I am Verona Crossfield.
This podcast is a place for free-flowing conversation of different aspects of life.
No subject too big or too small, so stay tuned and we pray that you are blessed by what you receive. Welcome to episode 2 of Freedom Flow. So good to have you with us today. We are going to be discussing siblings.
Yeah, how we related to our siblings when we were growing up as children. So I think I should go first. I must put it out there because your family was very, very big.
There was a lot of us,
Yeah,
yes.
there was a lot of you. So as I said in the last one, we had our brother in Jamaica, and then there were 4 of us as children over here. So there was two boys and 2 girls over here. And the relationship that we had was really, really good, really fun, growing up as kids. Again, like we said last time, didn't have much, but together we had a relationship. And I will say that my elder brother, he had some funny antics about him. And I don't think I'll reveal what he did to me, but it was some of the things were...
It was Big Brother stuff.
Yeah, Big Brother stuff. He made life very interesting for us. But the age gap between my elder brother and my elder sister was so much that we didn't really kind of hang out together in
so
that
it was
regard.
The older 2 together and the younger 2 together.
Yeah. So me and my younger sister, and it was just fun. I remember times like Christmas time we really enjoyed, especially because in our household at Christmas time there was a whole load of presents, and we did at the time, I must say, we did have a Christmas tree and all the presents that were around the Christmas tree. And we enjoyed having our breakfast, our Jamaican breakfast in the morning, ackee and saltfish, and beans and egg and all of that kind of stuff. But as kids, we were always very excited to go around the tree and then open up our presents. So things like that was really good. But I will say for me, though, it was a bit different because by the time I got to the age of 12, the relationship that I had with my siblings, I guess it was, I don't know if it was a bit distant or not as close, because we had my auntie Lewin, who lived with us, and she wasn't married. And then what she did was she got a house, and of all the children...
Here we go. Brace yourself.
The truth has to... We're being very open and honest in this conversation. Of all the children that she wanted to take with her for company, who did she take?
I don't know. Who did she take?
She took me. But so I left the family home when I was 12 years old with Auntie. And I think that kind of just changed the dynamic. But before I move on to that or finish off with that, there was something that I want to show you. For those who are watching this podcast, if you're listening to it only, you won't see. But we grew up as a family and we made a book.
Called The 7 of Us.
Called The 7 of Us. The 7 of Us. This book was a result of my mum working at a place called Pathway.
An education
centre, and they were doing stories about different families, and we just happened to be one that they wanted to write about. So we have so many different comments. I'm going to read really quick my comments that I put in the book. Okay, so this is Lloyd. All my friends like football. When I come home from school, I play football with Patrick and Jagtar in the alley.
Wearing flares. Oh, the picture.
Why are you laughing?
No reason. Keep going.
Anyway, I like tackling and saving. I'm writing an interest book at school. You've got to write what you're interested in. Football, aeroplanes, dinosaurs, and all that. First, I wrote about football. That was one book. In my second book, I wrote about aeroplanes. old-fashioned ones and models. This is the part we got to listen to, right? Is it, when I grow up, I'm going to be an engineer. I think I'll have to go to college to learn, but I'd like that because I'm good at maths. Then I could fix cars and vans and things. I'd like to have a Jaguar. I like the way it is shaped. Or I might be a bank manager at Lloyd's Bank.
Lloyd's Bank.
It's got to be Lloyd's Bank because that's my name.
Okay. And how old were you when this book was written?
I was 9 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, 9 years old.
9 years old, and you wanted to be the manager at Lloyd's Bank because that's my name.
Yeah. Absolutely brilliant, eh?
It's interesting.
Yeah. So this was something about our family, and there are different pictures in there that actually show how we gelled together and moved together as a family. Obviously, in every family, there's going to be ups and downs, and we had those even as siblings.
Yeah. I think more so as siblings, you have your ups and downs because you just all have your different characters, your different personalities. But and sometimes it works and fits well, and other times it's like, you're in my space. You need to come out of my space. So that's normal. That's normal.
So what was it like for you growing up in such a big, huge family?
Wow. Okay, so there were 8 children born to my parents. And as I said, we grew up with another sister living with us. It was really interesting. It was also fun. It was kind of in 2 halves in that I started the second half. So the second half was me and my brothers, and we were a team. We were a real team. We were the best. I was the best goalie in Brixton.
Okay.
And my 2 brothers were the good footballers. So,
I just think that sounds like a mischievous team.
I have no idea why you'd think that. I don't understand. But
Denial.
But it was really good fun growing up. One thing that was different for our family, I guess, is that we didn't have a TV.
Okay.
My dad wasn't into it at all, so we were extremely creative. And I'm sure that's where all of our musicianship and our songwriting and our creative thinking comes from. Okay. We had to be creative. So because there's so many of us, we used to do plays at Christmas for our parents. Yeah. And my dad taught all my siblings to play the guitar, but he didn't teach me. And I don't know why.
Wow. Okay.
But yeah, so
you can play a bit of organ.
Yeah, I played a bit of organ, and I played the drum first. Don't say anything. I played the drum first. Why are you laughing?
I've heard your drum playing.
Wow.
Oh, babe, come on.
Wow. Have you heard Miles? I taught him. Anyway,
Okay, I'm not saying a word.
Anyway, it was fun growing up with my siblings. I grew up, as I said, in the younger half to begin with, so I was close to my brothers, and we used to have these amazing times. In fact, we lived in a big house in Brixton, and my dad converted the attic into one big room, and I had a third of the room with a curtain that used to draw across it, and my 2 brothers had the other 2/3 of the room. Yeah. So we shared a room until I was about 11, I believe, 11-ish. And then my eldest sister said it wasn't right for me to be sharing with them, and we were separated. And I had to become a girl.
Because were you a tomboy?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, Okay. And then, but I was really close to my brother, and we had some fun, and we'd come up with stories, and we were a little bit mischievous.
I'd say you were very mischievous.
Yeah. And then I went over to the girls' side, and that was also fun. But I feel that, to this day, I have a really close bond with my sisters that growing up, I think I was in public, I was very quiet. But at home, I was very vocal and opinionated and very strong in my resolve. That's the way I'm going to term it. Yeah. Which meant that I would have a lot of arguments, and I'm not backing down because I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to, so I guess that meant that I argued with all of my siblings, really.
Yeah. Okay.
But because my sisters were older than me, at points they wouldn't have it. So I'd have to just let go and leave it alone. But leaving home, we're still close. We still have a good relationship, and we still are there for each other. That was something my mum instilled in us as children, that, whoever's around you, is great, but remember your siblings are always going to be there. So I have some amazing memories of, like I said, doing the plays at Christmas. We used to go on holiday, as in put a sheet over the stairs so you were under the sheets, camping. Yeah, we used to have water fights with my mum when my dad was at work, and then daddy would come home and mummy would say she doesn't know what happened, why the stairs is wet.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it was just a fun time. And again, it wasn't about how much we had.
Yeah.
And we didn't know we didn't have much. It was just the fact that we spent a lot of time together. Another thing that I think solidified who we were is that we had family prayer.
Okay.
And so we'd all come together and we'd pray together. And then my mum would pray last. And one of us would stay in family prayer and the rest of us would go and watch Dallas. And when she's finishing, would say she's finishing and we'd all come back and close our eyes. So yeah.
So she had no clue that the rest of you was on.
She had no clue because she
Wow.
prayed the entire hour. The
Wow.
entire hour. And when I say watch Dallas, it was my uncle who said to my parents that it's about time the kids had a TV, and he brought a TV for us.
Right,
So
okay, yeah.
that's how we eventually got a TV. But we were none the wiser. Didn't mean anything to us not to have a TV.
You made life for yourself in terms of what you had.
Yes,
which
we did.
Wasn't much.
Yes, we did. And because of that, I'm sure that helped us to be close. I'm sure that helped us to still have the relationship we do now. And I also think it shaped our character because we had to use our minds, we had to be creative, and we had to find other things to keep us entertained. So yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed my childhood. Yes, there were times where tragedy would strike and there would be things that we'd have to deal with. Like I said, my mum would have, she had a few episodes where she had to deal with mental health. That was difficult. Right. But as a family, we got through it. And my dad was just amazing through it all as well. So yeah, I enjoyed my childhood. So growing up in Brixton was also another thing that was amazing.
Okay.
Never saw anything to do with racism growing up in Brixton. Did not experience it at all. Probably because it was 99% black at the time. But so that's another thing we didn't have to deal with. It was only then moving out of Brixton. And I remember the first time I was 18 years old when someone called me the N-word out of a car. And I burst out laughing because I thought, oh my gosh, there is racism. Wow. Because I hadn't experienced it growing up in Brixton. So yeah, enjoyed my childhood.
Yeah, but so you had that closeness, whereas on my side, like I said, I mean, I remember even growing up in the household that we were, and while the other siblings were doing other things or watching TV or what have you, I would be in the front room or what you call the living room, playing the piano.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of just what I love to do.
But you were a quieter child as well, weren't you?
Yeah, I was a quieter child.
Yeah.
So even I wrote about that I have it here. In this book, Gifts and Calling.
A personal
perspective, just in case you are looking at the podcast. If you're not looking, I have Gifts and Calling in my hand, a personal perspective. And I speak about my low self-esteem. So I was an introvert. And really, I think in terms of being that way, I didn't really have the closeness that I maybe could have had with my siblings. And then moving to the house with Auntie Lewin, that kind of made
it easy for you to be an introvert.
Yeah.
Because you spent a lot of time by yourself.
Absolutely, by myself. So
in my house, it was whoever could talk the loudest would get heard. So I was happy to be involved and make my voice heard.
Yeah, you certainly did.
I did, but not in public. In public, I didn't feel the need to speak because I was always out with my sisters. So they'd talk and I'd just stand there and everyone would think I was really quiet and I was fine with that.
So that bonding again with your sisters, you felt safe in that environment with your sisters when you were out.
I always say that I think in my life I avoided a lot of hiccups and a lot of hurdles and heartache because I saw what my sisters went through and I was like, that's not going to be my story. In that, because they went through it before me, then I knew how to navigate life without having to go through those things. So I thank them for being there for me. Although I think a lot of people think now that I act like the oldest.
Yes. this is
That's
true.
a whole different topic. But yeah, my sisters, they are amazing women, all women of God, and we have an amazing relationship. My brothers, I love my brothers too. They're my younger brothers, but you don't really know it. But I spend a lot of time with one of my brothers, and there's two of my brothers I don't see very often, but we keep in touch and we still love each other. So
whereas for me now, and again, this is having you being my wife, if I get to the point where I'm just getting on with life, I don't pick up the phone. And you would tell me, pick up the phone. Have you phoned your sister? Have you phoned your brother? So, I think that even the way that I grew up, being apart from my siblings in that regard, it still probably has an effect on me in terms of not reaching out or saying hello as much as I should. But, we still know that we're there. One thing that I would ask, or we can talk about, maybe there's somebody listening to us and they might be struggling with their siblings. Do you think there is such a thing as sibling rivalry?
Absolutely. I think sometimes the sad thing is it's caused by parents showing favoritism to one child more than the rest or the other, which then is filtered down to the children. And I think that's one thing I don't recall. My parents, did they show favoritism? I think I kind of guessed who might have been a favorite for which parent, but it was never in your face, this is my favorite and the rest of you don't count. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I know that for us having children, we didn't raise them thinking, I mean, they all think they're the favorite, which works for me.
As long as they all think that.
As long as they all think that, it works for me.
Right.
But I don't really. So I think that's one thing. Sibling rivalry can come from the parents allowing it to happen, always playing the kids off against each other. You should be like your brother. Why aren't you more like your sister? Those type of things. It can also come because one is more successful and the other sibling becomes jealous of that.
Absolutely.
Or if when they were young, they got on really well and they did everything together, and then they grow up and one takes a different path that the other sibling didn't expect them to take, and it's working out really well. The sibling can take it really badly.
Yeah.
But I think one thing, and I think that's why I get on so well with my siblings, I've learned that we're all adults, we all have different paths. We came from the same parents, but we all have different paths now.
Right.
So it's just appreciating that they're going to do their thing and I'm going to do mine.
Yeah, and that's what it is. You're different personalities from the same lineage, but you are different personalities, different people, and then you have your own path that you can take. So it's about knowing who you are,
right?
As a person, as a child, as a young person, growing up with siblings, and being yourself and allowing your siblings to be who they are.
Absolutely. And so it's recognizing that we're all going to do different things in life. We may not even agree with the lifestyle that we've all chosen, but it's recognizing that I'm not responsible for that and they're not responsible for me. So it's just about saying, hey, we're going to do what we're going to do, but we are still siblings. So let there be a relationship there of some sort. There doesn't need to be, I'm not talking to you, I'm going to ignore you. That's really childish. And it speaks about also what's going on inside a person. But I think that everyone should have some relationship as much as is possible.
Yeah, but I do think with the reality of some relationships, there are those who will pull away and who will not want to be a part of the family for whatever reason. I think if that is the case, you can only leave that person to do what they're doing. If you've tried.
Yeah, agreed. I think that we can only be responsible for ourselves. So as long as you know that you've done your part, then everyone else has to be responsible for themselves. So if they don't respond, there's not much you can do about that. But it's funny. It's funny how life throws these curveballs and we end up in places when we reflect and think about our childhood, how close we were and all how we interacted. It just makes life a bit strange when we're older. But, my thing is there's always reconciliation. It doesn't have to stay this way always. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
So siblings. You now there are some. I think lastly, there are some children out there who might be an only child. But if you don't know any different, then you just don't know any different. I was going to say to you, would you rather that you had siblings?
Yes.
Or...
Yes.
Well, you don't know.
Yes. I think, I really do think, because not only do I have my siblings, I've got some really close friends. So I think I'm the type of person that would always have people around me that would be my nearest, my dearest,
Right.
my homie, my friend, my bestie, because I
Does
just
that
find...
include me?
This is not a marriage program. It's a siblings program.
Okay. Let's get serious. Yeah.
So yes, but you are my best friend. But that's another story. But I think that's just my character. That's who I am. And I actually believe that we're not supposed to be on this earth in silos. So even if you are an only child, find people around you that you can take into your heart and you're in their heart. So you become like siblings anyway. Because sometimes you can find friends that become closer than your siblings.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think for our experiences, we enjoyed our siblings, being with our siblings and having so many different experiences. We didn't always see eye to eye.
No.
We didn't always agree, but we had some fun times. And those are the times that we need to cherish and to remember. And, make sure that we are doing the best that we can to keep that bond together. So if there's anybody that's out there that you might be struggling with your relationship with your siblings, again, you mentioned the word reconciliation.
Yeah.
Just try and reconcile and live together as best as possible, because family is important. That's what God gave in the beginning, wasn't it? Family above everything.
Yeah, above everything, family. So whether it's your biological family or your church family, just find people around you that you can interact with, who will be there for you and you there for them. Because together we are stronger. Yeah,
absolutely. Okay, well, we have enjoyed this session 2 on siblings and relating to siblings, and we hope that you've enjoyed it as well, and maybe you can take something out of what you've heard. Do get in touch with us if you want to, through all the different social medias, and we will be speaking again on our next episode. We'll be speaking about being husband and wife. So that's the next stage. So we've had how we related to our parents as children, how we related to our siblings as siblings growing up, and the next stage of life came when we
got married. And I'll tell you how he didn't propose to me.
Oh, okay. Have we got cue music that we can just finish it there?
Thank you for tuning in. We're so grateful that you listened to our podcast today. God bless you.
Bless you. Love you loads.